Vaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O my only friend, my companion and my teacher, my great wealth and deliverer, O my good fortune and bliss, I offer respectful obeisances unto you. Garantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So we are reading today Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3, verse 17. Yes. Mritak prap. Maybe we can do the word by word first. Madrik, like me. Prapana, surrendered. Pashu, an animal. Pasha, from entanglement. Vimokshanaya, unto who, unto he who releases. Unto he who releases. Muktaya, unto the Supreme, who is untouched by the contamination of material nature. Bhuri Karunaya, who are unlimitedly merciful. Namaha, I offer my respectful obeisances. Alayaya, who are never inattentive or idle for the purpose of my deliverance. Svahamsena, by your partial feature as Paramatma. Sarva, of all. Tanubrit, the living entity embodied in material nature. Manasi, in the mind. Pratita, who are acknowledged. Pratyadrishe, as a direct observer of all activities. Bhagavate, and to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brihate, who are unlimited. Namaha, I offer my respectful obeisances. Te, to you. Madrik prapana pashupa shavimokshanaya. Madrik prapana pashupash. No. Yeah. Pashupasha vimokshanaya. This. Muktaya bhuri karunaya namo lalaya. Muktaya bhuri karunaya namo lalaya. Svamsena sarvatanu brinmanasi pratita. Svashena sarvatanu brinmanasi pratita. Pratyakdrishe bhagavate brihate namaste. Pratyakdrishe bhagavate brihate namaste. Madrik prapana pashupasha vimokshanaya. Muktaya puri karunaya namolayaya. Svamsena sarvatanu brinmanasi pratita. Svamsena sarvatanu brinmanasi pratita. Pratyak trishe bhagavate brihate namaste. Madrik prapana pashupasha vimokshanaya. Muktaya bhuri karunaya namolayaya. Svamsena sarvasanubrinmanasi pratita. Pratyak drishe bhagavate prihate namaste. Thank you. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It's a very, very beautiful verse today. There is like a purport. Amazing, amazing purport. So the verse goes like this. Gajendra speaks. Since an animal such as I has surrendered unto you, who are supremely liberated, certainly you will release me from this dangerous position. Indeed, being extremely merciful, you incessantly try to deliver me. By your partial feature as Paramatma, you are situated in the heart of all embodied beings. You are celebrated as direct transcendental knowledge, and you are unlimited. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, Gajendra speaking. Purport. The words Brihate, Namaste have been explained by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Brihate Sri Krishnaya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna. There are many tattvas, such as Vishnu tattvas, Jiva tattva, Shakti tattva, but above everything is the Vishnu tattva, which is all-pervading. This all-pervading feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is explained in Bhagavad Gita 10.42, wherein the Lord says, Atava bahunetena kim gyatena tavajuna vishtabhyaham idam krishnam ekam sena stito jagat. But what is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Thus Krishna says that the entire material world is maintained by his partial representation as Paramatma. The Lord enters every universe as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu and then expands himself as Kshirodakashayi Vishnu to enter the heart of all living entities and even enter the atoms. Andatarastam paramanu chayantarastam. Every universe is full of atoms And the Lord is not only within the universe, but also within the atoms. Thus, within every atom, the Supreme Lord exists in his Vishnu feature as Paramatma. But all the Vishnu Tattvas emanate from Krishna. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 10.2, Aham Adir Hi Devanam. Krishna is the Adi, or beginning, of the Devas of this material world, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshvara. Therefore, he is described here as Bhagavate Brihate. Everyone is Bhagavan. Everyone possesses opulences. But Krishna is Brihan Bhagavan, the possessor of unlimited opulence. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Krishna is the origin of everyone. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. Even Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshvara come from Krishna. Mata Parataram Nanyat Kinchit Asti Dhananjaya. There is no personality superior to Krishna. Therefore, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Bhagavate Brihate means unto Shri Krishna. In this material world, everyone is a pashu, an animal, because of the bodily conception of life. Yasya tamabudhi gunape tridatuke svadi kalatradishu boma ichyadihi yatirtha buddhi salilena kar hichich janeshvabi kenshu sa eva gokara. A human being who identifies the body made of three elements as the self. Made of three elements. What are those three elements? Usually 5 elements.
Sometimes they are in the science of body and science of material, they count 3. So many times also, I don't know.
Okay. Maybe it's body, mind, and intelligence, huh? Okay.
So this is,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So a human being who identifies the body made of 3 elements as the self, who considers the byproducts of the body to be his kinsmen, who considers the land of his birth to be worshipable, and who goes to a place of pilgrimage simply to bath rather than to meet men of transcendental knowledge, there is to be considered like a cow or an ass. Bhagavatam 10:84-13. Practically, everyone therefore is a pashu, an animal, and everyone is attacked by the crocodile of material existence. Not only the king of the elephant, but every one of us is being attacked by the crocodile and is suffering the consequences. So here Prabhupada brings it really in our level, like don't think it's just the story of Gajendra, but we are all in this category. And here comes the very, very powerful paragraph, very often quoted by my spiritual master. Only Krishna can deliver us from this material existence. Indeed, he is always trying to deliver us. Ishvara sarvabhutanam ridideshe junatishtati. He is within our heart and he is not at all inattentive. His only aim is to deliver us from material life. It is not that he becomes attentive to us only when we offer prayers to him. Even before we offer our prayers, he incessantly tries to deliver us. He is never lazy in regard to our deliverance. Therefore, this verse says, Buri Karunaya Namo Laba Layaya. It is the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord that he always tries to bring us back home, back to Godhead. God is liberated. He and he tries to make us liberated. But although he is constantly trying, we refuse to accept his instruction. Sarva dharma parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. Nonetheless, he has not become angry. Therefore, he is described here as Buri Karunaya, unlimitedly merciful in delivering us from this miserable material condition of life and taking us back home, back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The verse one more time. Since an animal such as I has surrendered to you, who are supremely liberated, certainly you will release me from this dangerous position. Indeed, being extremely merciful, you incessantly try to deliver me. By your partial feature as Paramatma, you are situated in the heart of all embodied beings. You are celebrated as direct transcendental knowledge, and you are unlimited. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakvaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svaparantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshvari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatam Surato Pangor Mama Manda Matergati Matsarvasva Padambujo Radha Madana Mohano Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master, with the torchlight of knowledge, has opened my eyes. Therefore, I offer him my respectful obeisances. So this is very powerful verse and very powerful purport by Srila Prabhupada. And the main point coming up is that Krishna is always eager to deliver us. And I hope by this lecture it will strengthen our faith that Krishna's merciful involvement in our life, that he's actually there and he's actually concerned about us. Like Prabhupada says, he's never lazy in his attempt to deliver us. So that's what Gajendra said. He said, even though I am an animal, but still I have surrendered unto you. Certainly you will release me from this dangerous position. That's what Gajendra said. I am an animal, but I surrender to you. So surely you will take care of me. And then he said, indeed, being extremely merciful, you incessantly try to deliver me. So it's not only Prabhupada in the purport, but Gajendra himself. So you incessantly, you all the time, you keep trying to deliver me. I offer my respectful obeisances to you. And in the purport, there are few nice points that Srila Prabhupada is underlying. One is, of course, that Krishna is always ready to deliver the soul, even if they are fallen, even if they are in the body of animal or fallen. Krishna is always ready to deliver them. And how is trying to deliver them? Being situated in the heart. Prabhupada speaks about that the Lord is inside of the heart, and from there he's trying to give direction to the soul. Then Prabhupada makes the point that Krishna is the source of all incarnations, quoting Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, explanation of one term of the verse, making very clear that everybody comes from Krishna. And he's quoting this verse, Bhagavad Gita 10:42, which struck me, even though we heard it many times, when Krishna said, with a single fragment of myself, a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support the entire universe. That's mind-blowing, huh? If you think. And then Prabhupada also says he's entering every atom and he's there present in everywhere. Huh? And then another point that Prabhupada brings up is that everyone is an animal because of being in the bodily conception of life. And that's where Prabhupada gets more or less in our case. And don't think this is just Gajendra who is in this situation. You are also being attacked by the crocodile of material existence, not only the king of the elephant. Huh? Okay, so today we will see, first, is there a need to surrender in order to receive the Lord's mercy? Because here we hear Prabhupada's purport say that even before we pray, the Lord is ready to protect us or to deliver us. So we'll explore a little bit, how you say, not contradictory, but paradoxical point. And then we will see Krishna's eagerness to deliver us, and then we will see Krishna's strategy in delivering us. That's what we are trying to. So is there a need to surrender in order to receive the Lord's mercy? Because in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yeyatamam prapadyante tam stateva bhajamyaham. According to how much step you do toward me, then I reciprocate. So there it sounds that we have to do something so that Krishna reciprocated. And then he says, Sarvadharma parityaja, you please give up, surrender, give up all those other religious systems and just surrender to me. So Krishna is actually demanding a surrender, but here we hear that even before we surrender, even before we start to pray, Krishna is already concerned toward us. So I was remembering an address that Srila Prabhupada gave when he came. It was somewhere in America, very famous arrival address where Prabhupada breaks in tears at the end speaking. Do you remember? Atlanta. Huh?
He wrote Parama Karuna.
Yeah. 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 And then he said, actually, Krishna demands surrender. But Gauranga, he's not demanding surrender. He's just like giving mercy, like fully. So that was a thought, remembering Prabhupada saying, oh, okay, Krishna demands some surrender, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it doesn't demand surrender. It's just like distributing the mercy. After some reflection on there, I thought that Krishna, even if we don't surrender, Krishna is eager to deliver us. But if we surrender, we help him to deliver us. That means it's like Krishna is always trying to deliver us, but as long as we don't surrender, we don't help him, or we don't collaborate with his attempt to deliver us. We just want to do our own stuff, and he just cannot force through our free will. Yes, Vajanti? Yeah. Vajanti is getting some good memories of Brihad Bhagavatamrita when Gopkumar come back to the spiritual world, and Krishna said, I was trying so hard to deliver us. Finally, you have managed to come. I think there are also sometimes this analogy that if we fall into a well and we call for help and someone gives us a rope, then we have to catch the rope so that we can, if we just don't catch the rope, we cannot be taken out of that. So this is actually the part we have to do on our side, that we have to actually try to follow Krishna's instruction and try to enter into the realm of surrender so that he can actually help us, because he will not force us, he will not push us, he's trying to liberate us, and we will see after how he's actually going to do that. So actually, when we enter into this realm of surrender, we are opening the door of our heart to let the Lord helping us, or to let the Lord become active into our life. Okay, how can we surrender to the Lord? There are many, many answers. I was thinking very much by taking advantage of the help He's giving us, taking advantage of the scriptures, trying to follow and apply. But there, I don't think we need to go too deep, because that will be a lecture by itself about how we surrender to the Lord. One thing that Vajanti was sharing with me, I found very nice in connection to surrender. She was reading a book on prayer from a Christian priest. And this priest was saying that speak about constant prayer, by being all the time praying, all the time speaking to the Lord. And the point was, it's a practice, the practice that we have to do. Like when we do japa, our practice is to bring the mind back, bring back the mind back to the holy name. So even during the day, we can have the practice to bring the mind back to Krishna, to bring the mind back according to what we do, to all the time start to remember again the Lord and to pray to Him, like to speak to Him, to make that a practice, to be actually connected to the Lord all the time during the day, which sounds very attractive and not so easy to do. But this priest was saying, it's a practice. Just keep doing. One day it will just work out. So I thought that's actually a very nice way to go into the realm of surrender. And also, by learning about the wonderful nature of the Lord and His compassion, this will give us impetus to surrender. If we don't know Him, and we don't have faith in Him, and we don't know He's actually good and kind, then it will be very difficult to enter the realm of surrender. And that's where we enter into the point number 2 of today's lecture, where the point comes that Krishna is eager to deliver us. When we hear about that, then yes, sure, let's surrender to such a God who is such a well-wishing friend, such a wonderful person. And thank you for joining, Olena. You missed like a really, really good part of the purport, but I'm going to tell it again. It's really, really good. You will really appreciate that. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada said that only Krishna can deliver us from this material existence. And we know that before Gajendra came to this point, understanding that all the friend elephants and everyone around him will not be able to deliver him. So he's coming to this point, only Krishna can deliver us from this material existence. And Prabhupada was saying that we are also like Gajendra, an animal. And because we very much identify with our body, and we are also attacked by the crocodile of material existence all the time. Actually, if we observe, all the time we are attacked by the modes of material natures that are like crocodiles of material existence. All the time we are attacked by the inner enemies of greed, lust, envy, and so we are actually all the time attacked by the crocodiles of material existence, just looking from these two windows. So Prabhupada says, indeed, Krishna is always trying to deliver us. He is within our heart and not at all inattentive. He's all the time attentive. We are all the time inattentive. We are all the time flickering with our mind. Krishna is not inattentive to our deliverance. His only aim is to deliver us from material life. Of course, we know he liked very much to enjoy his pastimes with his devotees. But Prabhupada makes it really in this context, his only aim, means no other, is to deliver the living entities from this material life. It is not that he becomes inattentive to us only when we offer prayers to him, Prabhupada said. Even before we offer prayers to him, he incessantly tries to deliver us. He is never lazy in regard to our deliverance. Therefore, this verse say, Buri Karunaya Namo Layaya. It is the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord that he always tries to bring us back home, back to Godhead. Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki Jai. Jai. Shalagram Shila Bhagavan ki Jai. So here is our beautiful Madan Mohan, Srimati Radharani, and that's their aim. That's their only aim. Even before we start to pray to them, their aim is to deliver us from this material existence and bring us back home, back to Godhead.
Even then, before they are attentive.
Yeah. It's amazing. Before we pray to them, they are, yeah. So this is actually a very nice way to take darshan of them, to remember what is their quality, what is actually their heart. God is liberated and he tries to make us liberated. But although he's constantly trying, Prabhupada writes in the purport, we refuse to accept his instructions. That shows both. Here we get into, oops, I have some homework to do. Nonetheless, Krishna do not become angry at us. Like if you give some instruction or if you try to give guidance to someone and the person just don't care about the guidance you give, after sometimes you might just say, okay, then do your business. I will use my energy in a different way. I'm not going to try to help someone who doesn't want help. But Krishna is not like this. Even though we don't follow or don't make much effort to follow, he's not becoming angry and never gives up on us. Therefore, he is described as unlimitedly merciful in delivering us from this material condition of life and taking us back home, back to Godhead. So the last point for today is what is his strategy, Krishna's strategy to take us back home, back to Godhead. Then again, this is like open question that could have many answers. He is in the heart of all living entity. He is guiding all the living entities from that one way. He's trying to inspire us from within. He appears through the scriptures, through the deity. But the main point, I think, important is he's appearing through the devotees. And that becomes like super tangible because devotees are speaking to us. They are there. They are close. They are available. They observe us and they can give us feedbacks. So this is one way that Krishna appears to us. In strategy, is appearing and speaking through his devotee to help us to go back to Godhead. I was remembering how Srila Prabhupada will say that our temples are there to give association. People can come here to receive association because they will receive the mercy of the Lord through the devotees. And I was reading yesterday evening, after preparing the lecture, I was reading the chapter of Lord Nityananda being sent by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Jagannath Puri to Bengal with a very special mission to actually deliver the conditioned souls. And there we can see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sending Nityananda to go, which is like the Guru Tattva, which is representing Guru, to now go and deliver the entire world. Lord Chaitanya said, "Listen, magnanimous Nityananda. Go immediately to Navadvip. I promised that I will drown everyone, including fools, fallen and sinners, in the ocean of Krishna Prem. I have promised this. If you remain here with me as an ascetic, keeping a vow of silence and concealing your enthusiasm, who will deliver the fallen souls of this world? You are the bestower of love and devotion. If you want to make my words true, go to Bengal at once. Deliver everyone by giving prema bhakti to all the foolish, fallen, low class and distressed." So then Nityananda went. He had a good a dozen of his close associates who were very, very transcendental, and Nityananda was infusing ecstatic love in them. So they were running in all directions, they were losing their path all the time, they were just chanting, dancing on the way, really, really intoxicated in love of God. And then whenever, maybe I read, this is very beautiful. In any direction Nityananda Mahashai mercifully glanced, he showered love and devotion. Wherever he would glance, his glance was like a shower of love and devotion. Anyone Nityananda looked upon would fall unconscious due to ecstatic Krishna Prem. They will get a glance, they will fall down in Krishna Prema. They will try to catch hold of Nityananda Swarup, who smiled sitting on his golden throne. Lord Nityananda invested his energy in all his chief associates. They became omniscients. Their words became perfect. They looked as beautiful as Cupid. Whomever they touched with their hands was overwhelmed with love of God and forgot everything else. So it's interesting. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives the order to Nityananda, who is like the Guru Tattva. And then Nityananda goes and gives this love to everyone. But in plus is empowering his associates. And the associate, they also distribute this love, that just by touching, they will become transcendentally infused by spiritual energy. I always remember when I was, that's long ago, maybe 15 years or 20 years ago, I was in Radhakund. I was making a Radhakund parikram, and one of the Babaji, very old Babaji, came to me and he took my hand. He just touched and gently massaged my hand for a little while. And I remember I was really transported into a different energy, or into a different feeling in my heart. And I was very young. I did not know what to do. So I took away my hand and I went away. I did not know much what was to be done. I don't remember if I offer my obeisances or not, but I remember this. I will remember my whole life, how I felt when he was touching my hand. So I just one last point of contemplation. When we were in Radhadesh Melo, there was, I think on Sunday morning, Achyuta Gopi was starting her kirtan, and then she was speaking of us being devotee and us being actually supposed to be the one who are giving the mercy of the Lord. This is actually also one of our duty, or one of our aim. The aim of the Lord, like we heard, is to constantly try to deliver the fallen souls. And the aim of the devotees should be actually to give further the mercy that we are receiving. And she was making this point quite strong. She was saying, don't be miser. Don't just whatever mercy you get, just keep it for you. You have to give it further, distribute it further. So I thought it was a nice point. And I thought of one story where in the scriptures, when we see how the Lord is giving His mercy, and that's a story of Putana, who was actually such a demon, but got such a mercy that she could have been, she became actually a nurse in the spiritual world. So I thought to use maybe the 5-10 minutes left for telling about the pastime of Putana. And sometimes we sometimes switch off when we heard story that we already heard. And I remember once when I used to travel with my spiritual master, he would often give Gora Lila Kata. And I would play harmonium and we would sing, and then he would tell the Lila, and then we would sing, and then he would tell the Lila. And he was all the time telling the same pastimes, or most of the time it was Prakash Lila of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And after sometimes I started to get a little bit annoyed. And once I remember I was there and I was thinking, Guru Maharaj, there are so many pastimes. Can't you speak another pastime? You know, and at that time I heard a voice inside the heart, and the voice said, "Do you know this pastime? If you would have now to tell these pastimes, imagine you are sitting on the Vyasasana and you have to tell this pastime. Would you know how to tell? Will you know the details of these pastimes?" And then the answer was clearly no. I would not know. I have heard, but I did not have learned. I don't know actually that. And Radhanath Swami, in one of his lectures, he say, if you ever think you have already know a pastime of the Lord, that means you actually never heard it. That's how Maharaj will say. So with that, we can hear again this pastime of Putana, and you might like to look for some details that maybe you have forgotten or that you find might be relevant. How Putana looked, there is a description when she became the demon at the end. Anyone knows some of the detail of how Putana looks?
After she was a demon? Before or after she?
This is before. It must be quite similar, like after, but before she transformed herself as a young girl. Red hair? Yeah. Actually, Jiva Goswami gave a definition in Gopal Champu. He said that Putana looked like a mendicant, matted hair, sharp teeth, drinking blood of small children. And she was drinking blood of small children. And when Maharaj Parikshit heard about Putana, how she was, and that she was now flying on a stick in direction of Braj, what was happening in Maharaj Parikshit? He got afraid. He got fearful for Krishna. He was truly listening because he would have feelings happening about what he was listening. And then Maharaj Shukadev Goswami said, don't worry, wherever Krishna is, wherever the holy name is, no one can do anything bad, and even the witch and whatever, no fear to be there, dear Maharaj Parikshit. So Putana was sent, actually this I read because it's beautiful, sent by the Lila Shakti of the Lord and invited by death personified. Putana flew on her stick to Gokul, making a frightening echoing sound. So when she came, she disguised herself. She looked like a 16-year-old young girl, having beautiful malati flowers in her hairs, earring, glancing very charmingly to everyone. And she just entered into the house where Lord Krishna was. And she was just so beautiful that everyone thought, this is the goddess of fortune. This is the goddess of fortune. Please go to Krishna, go to Krishna. And she approached Mother Yashoda, and she spoke to Mother Yashoda a very critical language. I don't know if you will be able to catch it. She said, she was almost in tears, and with choking voice, Putana spoke. "O Yashoda, you have become so hard-hearted because you are so busy and you keep this tender baby lying on the bed while you carry on your household duties. You are not giving your full attention to your child. When I heard about your child, I came here immediately. Just like a jasmine flower become jolly at springtime, my eyes become so jolly by seeing that beautiful child. My breasts are overflowing with nectar, and if any child drink that nectar, he will obtain a perfect body. So I will become his nurse, and I will give him great happiness." Of course, we know that she was going to kill Krishna, and her breast was smeared with poison. So she came close to the bed, and Krishna was lying down on the bed that was white. The sheets were white as camphor. And Krishna looked like a sprout of emerald sprout on the white sheet that were like saffron, camphor powder. Krishna was extremely powerful, but he was hiding his power. So he was like a powerful fire hiding under the ashes. And when Putana saw him, she got a hint. She felt this is a lot of power in this personality. He has the power to destroy all demons, and he has the power to destroy myself. So she got a little bit confused. But at the same time, he looked just so innocent and so helpless. He was what? 1 year old or a few months old, like so helpless. And then Krishna understood Putana is not so sure what to do, and I have to now do my pastime. So he closed his eyes. And there are few reasons why he's closed his eyes. Anyone knows? The Acharya give few reasons why Krishna closed his eyes. Yeah, and she was coming as a mother, and he felt killing a mother is not so good. So if I go to do that, better I close my eyes. Any other? You're not devotees? Okay. Yeah, she was going to do something quite inauspicious. And Krishna knew my glance is turning everything into auspicious. So if I look at her, then she will not do what she's supposed to do, and I have to do my pastimes after all. So he closed his eyes. And he also felt, oh, it's not nice to look at a demon. I don't want to look at her. And Bhakti Chaitanya Swami said sometimes it's also for us, sometimes you might be in airports and you have posters of people, criminals, like wanted people and like this. So if you look at them, you just get directly affected by bad energy. So all those people also in the newspaper and things like this is not people we should really watch. So then she saw Krishna close her eyes, she took him on her lap, and she gave her breast to Krishna. And when Krishna started to suck, everyone looked, and everyone was in ecstasy. Look, Krishna is drinking now from the goddess of fortune. Wow. Everyone was just so happy. And Krishna started to suck and suck and suck, and he sucked her whole life out, and she started to scream and run out of the house. Leave me, child, leave me, child. Her arms and legs were flailing in all directions, and then she could not keep her form. She grew, became like the huge demon that she used to be, and there was big crash she fell. Even it's described she fell on the garden trees, the trees of Kamsa's garden, and destroy all the things. And everyone just got like, oh, what is happening? They started to run and looked for Krishna, and they saw this gigantic demon body on the floor. And first they could not see Krishna because Krishna was on the top. But then I think this is Kavikarnapur mentioned that suddenly they saw actually Krishna was on the top of the breast of Putana, and he looked like a small cloud that is stuck on a mountain peak. Very beautiful, very beautiful image. And then Krishna came down, and everyone was, how you say, relieved that Krishna was saved. And then they decided to burn down this body, which was kilometer long. So they must have had quite some months of wood cutting. It could be encouraging for our devotees who do wood cutting here. Nice meditation one can have. Then when they burn the body, it was actually smelling like aguru fragrance, because she had been touched by Krishna's body. And then it is described that she got the position of being a mother in the spiritual world. And there is a description that in a previous life, actually, she was Malika Mala, I think, and she was the sister of Bali Maharaj. And when she saw Vamanadev coming, she felt motherly love. A small, cute dwarf. She said, oh, I would like to feed him. I would like to be his mother. But when she saw what Vamanadev did to Bali, and he took all the kingdom of Bali and stepped on his head, she felt, oh no, I will give him my milk, but I will kill him. And then in the next life, she became like this as Putana. And there is this famous verse. This is the verse that kidnapped, was it Shukadev Goswami when he came out of the womb? He just did not want to see anyone or to be entangled, so he just went into the forest, and he was a little in Mayavad consciousness. So Vyasadev, I mean, not say Mayavad consciousness, but he was not conscious of Krishna, or he was not aware of bhakti, of this bhakti principle. And Vyasadev sent some devotee and say, you chant verses, and that will attract him. And when they sent this verse, Aho Bakila Stana Kalakutam, something like this, that say, oh, how glorious is our Lord Krishna, that he gave even to the Putana demon, that he gave her the position of a servant. So I thought to speak of this story, because this is our main job as devotee of Krishna. We should be speaking about Krishna and remember Krishna and enjoy to hear about Krishna and learn new details about how he looks, about how he's doing his pastimes, as a point to underline how he's actually merciful and how he's always trying to deliver all the living entities. And that was for today's lecture. We were seeing that even though he desired to deliver us, even if we don't surrender, still when we surrender, we give him the opportunity to do it, and therefore we have to help him to deliver us by being agreeing to be delivered. At this point of surrender, there was Krishna's eagerness to deliver us, which was nothing else than what Prabhupada write in the purport. Anyone remember what Prabhupada was saying? Even before we start to pray, is ready to deliver us. What else? Okay. Is never lazy and he is not angry when we try. Okay, very good. And then at the end we saw what is the Lord's strategy in delivering us. He comes in so many different forms. but mainly in his devotees. And the devotees are the carriers of the Lord's mercy, and there we get our opportunity to connect with the Lord's mercy. So thank you. Sorry that I stretched it a little too long. But I think it's so important we hear about Krishna. I could have finished at 10 to 9, but I think it's really important. We never hear enough and remember enough what we hear. So thank you. If you have any quick question, comments.
Just with that, this being just something that came to mind. How he's even before we pray, but like in the Sri Upanishad describes, he like outdoes all others running. You know, like no one's faster than him, and so I guess that's like a manifestation of his being faster. You know, not able to surpass everyone else. He's already ready to do the rest of it before we even pray. He's already ready to receive it.
Nice. Thank you. Okay. Then, thank you for your attention. May we remember, keep this point with us today, and we can keep as a homework this entering the door of surrender at which time we can to help the Lord to deliver us, and also this point of being giving mercy, this point of being instruments of the Lord, and whatever mercy we get, to be able to distribute it to others, to not be misers of mercy and just keep it on ourselves. Karantarat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.